Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. We've uncovered an endangered species at the American Legislative Exchange Council, a Republican from California. David Tangipa represents Yosemite and the surrounding area in the California legislature. There are 60 members of the California legislature, 20 Republicans. What can you get done, David?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we're working on getting done is actually truly making it the Sunshine State, where we're exposing what's happening in California. You know, when I look at fraud and corruption, when the governor's former chief of staff gets convicted of corruption, when the former attorney general, Xavier Becerra, who's the potential next governor of the state of California, his chief of staff also convicted of corruption. And with what the attorney general is doing right now is something that I think everybody around the country needs to see of what it looks like not to do something.
I want to talk about what AG Bonta did yesterday, but I first want to just say about Javier Becerra. Gives empty suits a bad name. And I cannot believe people would vote for him over Steve Hilton, who's running a great, very online campaign, but he also has got the grassroots. Are you an optimist at all?
I am an optimist a little bit, mainly because Becerra's chief of staff, again, was convicted of corruption. They both took plea deals from, instead of going to 20 years in prison, to 2 years. So that tells me that there's a big whale somewhere that they took a deal for. So I think we're still waiting on that ball to drop, and how involved some of these electeds, whether it was Governor Newsom or Xavier Becerra himself, happens on that end. So
all right, now let's talk about AG Bonta playing games with initiatives. Tell the whole audience out there what's going on.
Yeah, this is what happened yesterday in California. We have the voter ID initiative. We've collected 1.6 million signatures, and the title and summary of how it's supposed to appear on the ballot used to say the Voter ID Initiative and Citizenship Verification Constitutional Amendment. It now says prohibits citizens from voting unless a government issue ID is shown. But in the summary as well, which it states that we ban mail-in ballots, we actually don't do that at all. It requires a code and verification, but essentially what he's done is in the middle of an election season, he is changing title and summary because he knows framing matters.
Of course it does. It's mattered for, I lived there off and on since 1978. It's all about the title.
Exactly. And so instead of saying voter ID initiative, it is now prohibit citizens from voting initiative.
What is the prop number?
Prop 39.
So we want yes on 39.
We want a yes on 39.
That's easier to get a yes than a no. Yes on 39. And how's the money coming in? Because that's an expensive proposition to run a proposition in California.
We got to give a big credit to Assemblymember Carl DeMaio for, there's nobody who sleeps on his team because he works so much. And so Carl's doing a really good job. I think it's one of the largest funding mechanism we have, but there's never going to be enough money when it comes to trying to beat Rob Bonta. I now refer to him as rigging Rob Bonta.
That good?
And we've got to make it too big to rig. And so we need all the support we can get to actually bring citizenship verification and voter ID to California.
Well, you're talking right now to every major market in California because it's let me just do my math, 230, 245 in California right now. So everyone in your car, yes on 39, yes on 39, yes on 39. What would that, let's assume it passed. What do you think would be the impact of that?
I think it would be monumental. And it's monumental because we've seen in the data with the motor voter and the automatic registration that's happened since about 2016, 2017, there are statistical anomalies. Let's look at LA County alone. We just got a report from the Secretary of State that shows that there are 147% registered voters in the county. Well, what does that mean? There are more registered voters in the county of LA than there are eligible age adults to vote. The same thing in San Diego County and the same thing in most of the counties in California. So this will require our local clerks and registrars to actually clean the voter rolls, to get rid of the bloated voter rolls, and to guarantee that each individual can cast one vote, and we're guaranteeing that there's a normal election security process in our system.
Don't even ordinary Democrats hate the waste, fraud, and abuse? The unemployment numbers, everyone thinks they got the worst fraud scandal in the country. And I said, no, you don't. I was in California when the unemployment number, they just absolutely rampaged. Prisoners were getting like 3 checks a month. What, do the Democrats get upset ever about anything?
So I will say there's a difference between the elected Democrats and the general population. Whenever I talk to the general population, a lot of them are just regurgitating whatever talking point that they're saying. But when I ask them about fraud, waste, and abuse, they agree with us. but a lot of them just blindly trust their elected officials. And it's unfortunate that a lot of them are just saying the right things, but doing the wrong things behind their back. And it's something that I've talked about here at ALEC, and want to credit Lisa Nelson for this one, is they are cheating fair and square.
Oh, yeah, it's legal.
Because they have a supermajority, they are changing the laws and then saying, well, it's not illegal. Well, that doesn't mean that it's not wrong. When Governor Newsom allocates or moves certain companies and groups to spend $300 million on his wife's friends' nonprofits, in 49 other states, that's illegal. In California, it's just a behest payment. You know, and that's how you change the laws with the supermajority. And that's part of our first goals, is to break the supermajority, expose the corruption in California. What I've seen with my term is it may be 8 years of education, 2 years of implementation, and 2 years of execution, but that can be accelerated if the people of California decide to stand up and root this out.
Now, is there a legal option open for Rig and Rob Bonta? Can you go and challenge that change of title?
We can challenge it in the state court. But
good luck.
That's where, when the appointments to the judicial system are also under the same
California
thing.
Supreme Court's to the left. And one of the reasons I left the state is you can't get a fair shake from the state courts. So it's a yes on 39. How about you? You've been in 2 years?
I've been in 2 years.
And you have 10 to go.
I've got 10 more to go.
So
yes.
That's like a prison sentence. Actually, do you like Sacramento? It's not far from Yosemite. You can get back and forth pretty quick. Where are you living, by the way? Which part of
I live in Fresno, actually.
Okay.
So I've got Fresno in the Eastern Sierras.
Okay. So do you like being in Sacramento? Do you like the legislature? Do they ever listen to you?
Do they listen to me? I would say no. But, you know, I do have a new record in Sacramento. I am the fastest legislator to be kicked off of committees.
Oh, which ones?
I got kicked off of pretty much everything from health, utilities, insurance. I used to be the vice chair of the insurance committee.
Why? We got 1 minute. What?
The insurance commissioner was going to come and testify. I found out that he's been using government money to pay $23,000 on trips to African safaris. He spent money to go to Pride Parade and
Out you go.
didn't intend. And as I was going to question him, they kicked me off.
I think you're the Brandon Gill of the California legislature, except Brandon's in the majority, so you got to be in the minority for a while. But David Tangipa, how do I say it?
Tangipa.
Tangipa. What is the ethnicity there?
I'm Tongan. I'm Polynesian.
Oh, very cool.
So
you're like the tackle for the Browns. I'm glad to have you here, Spencer Fano. I'm glad to have you here. Yes on 39. Yes on 39. I'll say that. I'll take about it. Say that in every program. Thank you, David.
Thank you for
Don't
having
go
me.
anywhere, America. I'll be right back from the American Legislative Exchange Council. I'm Hugh Hewitt.